You're listening to littlepodcast.com. Welcome to Born in the 80s, Christmas is Terrible, 2017 edition. I'm here, your host, John Rowe, joined by my co-hosts,
Matt Hagg. Now you say your name.
And Lauren Welch.
What the fuck did you think you were supposed to do? You're going to say my name, even though they both said their names.
I thought you said co-host singular, and I thought...
A special guest? Is that you wanted a special guest
I wanted special guest. I wanted that
Featuring
credit.
Lauren
Welch.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted your last name on the internet. It's full of terribleness.
That's true. Well, it'll be different in a few months, so hopefully I'll be okay until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't have an internet in a few months.
No.
Right.
Oh, God, no.
That's true. Net neutrality. Dab.
Yeah, it's over.
So welcome to our net neutrality podcast.
Ajit Pie
Pie.
dabbed on them haters. And
Jesus fucking
He
Christ.
really loves Reese's Peanut Butter Cups mug. That's all I know about
his
him.
fucking fidget spinner and his organic popcorn. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, we're here to talk about
So-
something much worse.
yeah, so
Yeah, something so heinous.
something much worse than the loss of net neutrality, and that is our movie. Just to preface this, we've done an episode of this basically every year, and we watch there's always like Christmas standards. What's a classic Christmas movie that you would call? Like, what's a standard Christmas movie?
I would say Christmas Story.
Christmas Story is
Christmas
classic.
Story, It's a Wonderful
Santa
Life.
Claus, the first Santa Claus. That's a decent movie.
Right. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Miracle on 34th Street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, these are classics. But it seems like Hollywood studios like to cash in every year and put out some fucking shitty
Some
Christmas
just
movie.
garbage dump of a movie.
Yeah. Previous years we've watched Hallmark movies because Hallmark basically has turned it into an art form of
Right.
making a terrible Christmas movie
Right.
every year to put out. Or ABC Family does the same thing.
Yeah.
So, they're always making TV crazy, terrible movies. But
We
this year,
didn't watch Christmas Prince, just so everyone
no,
knows. That's not what
sorry,
we watched.
we didn't meme it up and watch Christmas Prince this
I
year.
don't know what that is.
It's the movie that Netflix said that somebody was watching
Oh,
once a
yeah,
day,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then everyone was like,
Because it's fun to monitor your users and then call
and then
them
make
out
fun
on
of them.
tweets.
So you can imagine that Netflix is seeing what you're watching and making fun of you, possibly. So that's good. But anyway, we didn't do that. We decided to pick a movie that was a theatrical release in 2007,
Yes.
starring a huge cast, like big
Yeah,
names.
this was
Yeah.
like a star-studded cast.
What we're going to do is we're going to make you guess, even though the name of this episode is titled the name of the thing.
Don't look.
So don't look at
Yeah, don't look. The episode title is a spoiler.
You've already spoiled yourself.
Yeah.
No. Okay,
You
so-
ruined it. It's your fault.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're going to do
Fucking
because it's already
garbage
guessed.
dump.
But you've got, like, who's in this? Elizabeth Banks is in
Elizabeth
this.
Banks. Vince Vaughn.
Vince
That
Vaughn.
probably gave it away, actually.
Yeah,
Paul
exactly.
Giamatti.
Paul
Paul Giamatti. Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Don't worry, we have a lot
Rachel
of
Weisz.
material
Reese.
on Kevin Spacey.
That guy from all the Christopher Guest movies whose name I've forgotten twice already
John
tonight.
Michael Higgins.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big cast, including, like, a bunch of other, like, bit actors.
Right, like
TV
recognizable.
character- Like that guy from
There's
Downton
like
Abbey.
somebody from Downton Abbey.
One of the
in
butlers.
It. Yeah, it was Maggie Smith's butler, who I cannot remember it. And I
Oh,
feel really
my
bad.
God. It's like, what? Are you worried that our cat's going to leap off
Yeah.
to his death?
Don't kill yourself. You have
Okay.
so much
Fucking
to live
Christ.
I'm
for.
sorry, our cat was standing very close to
He
the
always does.
edge, and it scared me, so I called him over. So,
Yes. And the movie we watched, well, let's just say it. It's Fred Claus.
Fred Claus.
And this came out in 2007. Let's get a little background about this first.
Can I just say before, I had suggested this originally, and there was a moment where I was looking it up on IMDb, and I was worried that it might not be bad enough.
Yeah.
And then I got here, and we watched the trailer, and
Yeah.
all of those fears went away.
It was certainly bad
Yes. So,
enough. And
yep.
I think that all of our viewers will be very disappointed to learn that Fred Claus did not pass the Bechdel test.
It's weird. It's surprising that a movie that was produced by Vince Vaughn
When-
passed the
yeah.
test.
Yeah, and the director of The Wedding Crashers before this, 2 years before this. So I wanted to call this movie, I think I wrote in my notes that this movie is Santa Crashers, the movie, but a PG version because it's rated
that's
PG.
But also, it's confusing who this movie is for.
Yes, so let's get down to the details on
Yes.
this movie. So it was produced, like you said, by Vince Vaughn, Joel Silver, who's just a famous WB guy who produces everything, famous for being the creative mastermind behind Wild Wild West. And, Kevin Smith talked that in length in his stand-up specials, where he's talking about meeting this Hollywood producer who was obsessed with spiders, giant mechanized spiders in the Superman
Why?
movie that he was going to make, and then lo and behold, a year later in Wild Wild West, a movie
He made a
produced,
weird,
there's a giant
like,
mechanized
steampunk
spider.
fucking
Yes,
spider.
he also was behind, I think, some of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies as well. He produced like a lot of WB studio garbage movies this guy's in. So it's a good cast already. This movie cost $100 million to make. None of that budget
got to be salaries, right?
Yes, none of that budget was
say it's
spent
all
on the
saddle-
CG.
salaries. Yeah, the CG was like $3, and they had like me make it.
Yes. The movie made $98 million in the box office, so it did not
Yikes.
quite make its money back. Who would have thought a $100 million Christmas movie couldn't make its money
I'm
back?
almost positive that this movie came out on Christmas too. I feel like I remember seeing that, which doesn't make any fucking sense if you think about it, because there's one day that you want to watch it, and then for people like for me, I don't know about the rest of you, but as soon as Christmas is over, I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like Christmas
I'm just
season's
watching
done.
New Year's movies after that.
Yeah, exactly, and then Valentine's Day movies, and then St. Patrick's Day movies, and then Flag
Actually,
Day
no.
movies.
The only movie I ever watched is Love Actually, so it's always Christmas movies.
Oh, so
You only ever watch Love Actually.
So wait, you
But that
watched-
also can count as a Valentine's Day movie, I suppose.
Well,
Valentine's
there was
Day,
that terrible Valentine's Day
New Year's
movie that was
Day,
Oh yeah. St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day,
Then after that,
Mother's Day.
Mother's
Flag
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Is that in there somewhere?
Flag Day's in
I've
June.
completely blanked on the name of this.
You've
director.
forgotten about all the Martin Luther King Day movies.
Oh, the one that makes all those like the movies with like 1,500 people in it, and it's like New Year's Eve.
Yes, that's literally the joke I was going to make. But you remember his name?
I never. knew
Way
his
to
name.
add to this conversation, Lauren. I'm just saying, I'm like,
My fucking
I'm
fault.
naming all these movies, and I'm saying, I can't remember this guy's name. And you're like, oh, the guy's name who does all the movies that you just named.
Groundhog's Day.
I don't know his name, but fuck. What the
4th of
fuck?
July.
I'm going to look it up.
My birthday.
Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yes, your birthday.
I'm vamping while John does stuff on his phone.
Yeah. So Fred Claus was the movie we watched.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter
who's
who
Fred
directed all
Claus?
those movies.
Gary Marshall. Fucking Christ. I was like, it was like, it's the most generic name, but Gary Marshall. May he rest in peace. He died last year. But he directed a million movies like Mothers. Yeah, Lauren, thank you for air kissing there and then almost knocking your fucking microphone over. Air
not-
kissing on
look,
the podcast, which no one can see.
These microphone stands weigh like a half a pound.
Look,
They're
there's some
not
things.
well
There's some
weighted.
things that are for me,
Yeah.
and there's some things that are for the listeners.
Yeah.
That one was for me. So anyway, now that we got derailed by Gary Marshall,
Yes. Fred Claus release date, November 9th,
So I was
2007.
incorrect.
Came out plenty of time for people to watch for the Christmas season. A little early, I think, to
yeah,
watch.
that's like
Yeah.
I feel like
several weeks before things. Like usually by November 9th, I don't even know where I'm going for Thanksgiving.
That's a Thanksgiving weekend movie
yeah,
you put out.
like that makes sense for it to be released like on Thanksgiving or the day.
That's a
after,
Black
whatever.
Friday movie release.
right?
Wonder what else must have come out that year. Anyways, you guys continue talking about the movie. I'll find out.
Let's go over
Because
at least the beginning of the plot because
Yes.
it starts off in a bonkers place.
clearly this got
Right.
pushed out of the better release date because they're like, fuck, we can't have the same weekend as something else. So
Yeah.
you go ahead.
So Fred Claus, if you don't already know, is Santa Claus's older brother. That's the concept, is that he's Santa's older brother, and whatever, he's like living in Santa's shadow, basically.
Yeah. So of course it starts off with Santa's birth.
Like, yeah, Santa's birth in old, like, fucking...
It takes place in like the fucking 1200s.
Yeah, the 1200s
Miscellaneous
Germany.
old-timey times. And then it proceeds to go and over-explain every Christmas, like, tradition. Like, oh, this is when Santa invented bringing a tree inside.
Yeah, this is
Ooh.
when Santa invented giving presents and bullshit
Santa
like that.
came down the chimney because the door was locked. Because that's a normal thing for someone to think.
So they do explain how Fred Claus and Santa Claus's parents, I should say, are still alive. It is because Nicholas achieved sainthood, making him Saint Nick. And apparently in the weird lore of this movie, if you become a saint, like, you freeze in time and all of your whatever family freezes in time. So, like...
Okay, so and now I have a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, I have
that
so many
didn't-
questions.
So, is it just immediate family, or does extended family count
Right,
too?
like
and
does-
where's
yeah.
the cutoff?
Yeah, like, does he have a weird, like, cousin who's still alive?
And
Like,
what if they have an
for Christ's
adopted
let me
sibling? Does that sibling just age and die because it's not a blood relative?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, but they also do say that spouses also, like, freeze in time. But it also doesn't make any sense because Santa Claus is supposed to be, or whatever. Okay, Santa Claus is played by Paul Giamatti, and he is like has this gray beard. He looks like Santa Claus, but he is supposed to be Vince Vaughn's younger brother. Yet Vince Vaughn froze at whatever age Vince Vaughn was then. What is it, like 38, 40?
I don't know.
Whatever age
Past his
peak
prime.
Vince
All right,
Vaughn.
Hitman, the movie, the Mark Wahlberg Hitman.
Oh, we're back
movie.
here now.
Yes.
Okay.
Enchanted was probably the movie they were trying to avoid.
Okay.
The movie Enchanted came out during Thanksgiving of
Okay.
2007.
I had forgotten why you were looking that
That's
up.
why I looked it up. No, but if you want a movie, when I think about a Christmas movie, the first thing I want to see and hear is Kathy Bates giving birth to a child.
Yes.
Who's described as the largest child anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
That kid was straight up like 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah, that kid was full. That was like a
It's
one.
like, whatever, just cover him in applesauce, it'll be
Not to
fine.
mention he says ho ho. This is like
Yeah.
his first words right away. For some reason.
I hated that so
Wait.
much.
Yeah.
Newborns don't speak immediately.
Yeah.
No, but they also. Why would he say ho ho? Oh my god! It's.
And
Was
like
he-
I know
he was-
that that's like Santa's thing,
But I mean,
that's
was he
just like the way he
predestined to be
laughs.
Santa?
They could
Right.
have easily had a separate scene where he learned his first word as ho ho.
They could
Right.
have done a little montage.
I mean, not that I want to add more
But they
scenes
kind
to
of did
this
that.
movie.
Yes, the movie was 2 hours
Already
long.
too many scenes in this.
And 1 hour and 55 minutes is the clock time of this movie, which is about 20 minutes too long, I'd say.
Right.
And they go through like their whole childhood,
Yeah.
growing
like,
up.
Yeah, by the time.
Santa's the preferred kid, Nick, because he's
Right.
he's like kind of magical because he's like apparently super fat for some reason.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
the magic of childhood obesity.
I, in fact, wrote on my paper about Santa's thick booty many times, more
So you
than
were talking
once.
about that child's thick booty. What are you, Kevin Spacey?
Hey, we're
Oh.
not there yet.
Hey, yeah, we haven't started with
It's
those.
the first
Yeah,
of the many Kevin
foreshadowing.
Spacey jokes.
Yeah.
So when we were
Spacey
watching
alert.
this, we also said that we would all have to come up with our own Kevin Spacey joke. So,
Oh, are we doing that now, or are we
No,
waiting
no,
I
no.
figured
until?
we wait
okay.
until he
I was
organically
going to say
comes
we
up
have
in
to
the-
we
in
have
the
to get
movie.
to where
That's true. It didn't just organically
Kevin
come up.
Spacey
so,
was
let's move on. No.
invented.
I'm going back to where I was. Okay. What is Fred Claus's profession?
He's a repo man.
Oh, okay. That's a little on the nose, I think. Is that what we want to go with?
Yeah, and
Because it's-
well, you see, Santa likes to give to people, right?
Yeah.
And so as a foil to that,
Yeah.
I think it would be really subtle and artful if Vince Vaughn liked to take from people.
The first time we see Vince Vaughn, he's arguing with a child whom he has taken the TV away from, who she
Yeah.
said, Santa gave me that.
And I missed a lot of that, but I definitely picked up on the part where he told her she'd get pregnant and have a child in college.
She
Yeah,
did.
something like
He
that.
did
He
say
is
that.
ripping
This
on
is
this
like
child.
a
But,
like a
like,
7-year-old
the
girl.
child, her having a child in college, from my understanding of the conversation, was his good scenario.
Yeah. Mhm.
Which was confusing. The bad scenario was that she watched TV and got fat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I wrote down
Either you're gonna
if,
watch TV and be fat, or be a whore in college. One of the two.
I wrote down if Fred Claus is immortal, shouldn't he have made enough money to not have a job anymore?
I
That
know.
was my
Shouldn't he be
thought
retired?
too. Like, shouldn't he have like?
they didn't really get into like the physics of him
Right.
never aging.
And like, you think that he'd be a lot wiser than
He gets to
was?
a certain age and doesn't age. And Nick, his brother, got to be older. 'cause
Somehow
he's
got to be-
white-haired, and
Nick,
his wife
his
is
younger
significantly
brother.
older than Vince Vaughn.
Right.
Like she's like a 50-year-old, 45-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Whereas like Vince Vaughn's clearly a 30-something, late 30s guy or early 40s guy.
Right.
But it's weird. I have written here, and then I think this was the scene where he was taking toys from kids, where I wrote way too much Vince Vaughn shtick.
Yes.
Which is this movie
just
is like, yeah.
ridiculous monologues.
I'm just
of,
gonna,
like,
I'm
Vince
just gonna
Vaughn
argue
won't
with this
shut
kid, and
the fuck
why do we
up.
need to do this? Because I'm Vince
Yeah.
Vaughn, and you know we're gonna
I'm
do
talking
this.
real fast.
and we're gonna do this, and we're
Really
gonna
funny.
like this.
You're
But I don't
fast.
think that's a really good idea.
I'm gonna be
because-
sarcastic, but it's not gonna be funny because
Yeah.
I'm not funny. And
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I don't hate Vince Vaughn.
No.
You need
But
to watch
that's
the movie
where
Swingers.
having
He's
an-
really good in it. The Vince Vaughn shtick works
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, that's where having an
He can't be
actor
the only
that's a
thing, though.
producer falls
Yes.
apart because you need
Right.
somebody to rein him in.
yes.
right.
Because it's like that only works in small bites. That's why Wedding Crashers was fine, because there's the scenes with him where he's doing that, and then the scenes with fucking
Wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna kill myself guy. What's his name?
Wow.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Thank you.
Wow.
Owen Wilson.
Wow.
he's
I
like,
can't believe you didn't know who Owen Wilson
Wow,
was.
Rachel
wow.
McAdams wants to be my girlfriend. Wow. But she's dating Bradley Cooper. And he,
Wow.
Mom! Meatloaf!
yeah.
That was also from that movie.
That's Will Ferrell. Yes, thank you for blowing out your microphone.
Wow.
You definitely did, even though
I
you
thought it leaned back far enough.
you didn't. You
fine.
pointed away, but it wasn't enough. It's okay. It'll get
Just put
digitally audited.
a trigger
Yeah.
warning it.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Trigger warning. Hashtag you owe me Coke. Jinx.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're going to do a podcast where one of the people recording it has to be silent until he gets someone a Coke.
No, it's fine. Matt Hag. Okay, gotcha.
Wow.
Is it 5 times? I thought it was 3
I don't
times.
know.
I know. Fuck.
Matt Hag. Okay, it's 5. It's everybody. Also, Matt has just shown up behind me. I said that into a mirror just now.
Yes. Say my name.
We're
3
We're
times.
recording this in front of a mirror,
Yeah.
that's how you're
Like you
supposed to do
do.
it.
Anyway, yeah. So
Nobody ages. Let's go back to that because we were talking about that.
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
There's a line where it says Nick became a saint, Saint Nick, and the funny thing about saints is they're ageless. And it's like, okay, he doesn't age. That makes sense. But you have Fred Claus, fucking Vince Vaughn,
Who's
goes
his
from-
older brother? It's like in Game of Thrones.
goes from like 1200 AD, like fucking Havel in Germany, to I'm downtown Chicago guy.
Hey!
You think he'd have so much more like wisdom and things to say about the world?
No,
You would even think that he would have had like a line somewhere where he was like, "You think that's bad? I lived through the Crusades." Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there would have been something where he would have referenced one of the things that he's gone through, but it's seriously just like he's just some douchey 40-year-old that won't commit to his girlfriend. That's also
Yeah,
part
and
of it.
that's like a subplot as well.
Also,
Can we talk about
has
the other
he never had
subplot?
like a girlfriend until that lady? Like in all of his hundreds of years of being alive?
Yeah, it is weird. Or
Like-
maybe this is like the Twilight situation where he moves to a different city every like few years, or
Yeah.
10 years or something.
Yeah.
Why do I know?
Why
plot
do you
of
know?
Twilight? It's because I've seen them as a joke.
As a joke, right?
I've read the books. 2 of the books, not all the books.
Lauren, that's even worse. I have not read a book.
Look, in my defense, when they came out, I was like 17 or 18.
So
That's
they're,
not an excuse.
they're ageless, but they don't seem to be immortal because Santa Claus's wife is worried about
His health.
like his health issues.
Yeah. So that's kind of unclear, too. Is it like a death becomes her situation where you have to be like careful?
To not die, and you just got to live your life. I don't remember how
Yeah.
Death Becomes Her works.
I don't know.
Santa
I know
gonna
they're
die
like
from
rotting.
like hypertension?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like, is Santa gonna have a heart attack?
Yeah,
like,
he just
what?
goes down over Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's horrible.
And toys land everywhere.
But then, Tim Allen gets to be the new Santa
That's it.
Claus.
Oh shit, dude! We just found the continuity.
Found
here.
it.
Except for this clearly takes place in newer times, but
Right.
Can we talk about the other needless subplot that exists in this movie?
Oh,
Because
which one? You're gonna have to be more.
Yeah,
Okay, so he comes home after his first like repo debt. Oh yeah. Okay, here's another needless subplot. He needs like X amount of money.
Yeah, it is never resolved.
To start his own business, and this is the perfect location. The guy's like, I need the money by this day. And then he's like, okay, I'll get it to you. And he does this fucking Vince Vaughn shtick for like 4 minutes where
And
he's
we're
like
like,
arguing over the date.
I'm gonna kill
And I was-
myself.
exactly. Oh, Lauren, let's also point out that Lauren said she was going to do a timer and say the moment in the movie when she wanted to kill herself. And I also did that, and I marked a time down. We can explain what was happening on that. Well, so we'll get there. Just yell it out when we get to that point. So...
Yeah, I have mine.
So he's like, I need to get this, and he's like, okay, guess what? I'm gonna go make some money by being a huckster, and I'm gonna pretend to be a Salvation Army guy. And he's like doing his Vince Vaughn shtick, and all these women are apparently giving him money and stuff, which is
He keeps
Vince Vaughn's
kissing
fantasy living itself out. Matt actually said, when are we gonna have our Vince Vaughn shoe drop in Hollywood?
It's got to be coming.
Because,
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
the way he acts in these movies is like, well, maybe it's all character, though. I mean, he wasn't Swingers, though, and he's kind of, all right. He's always been kind of a greasy guy in these movies.
And all the behind-the-scenes stories I hear about him is that he's just like a huge asshole.
Mm-hmm. He's from Chicago, and they're all the worst people in the world, so.
Yeah. Shout out to our Chicago listeners.
Yep, sorry, guys. You're the good ones, says John, quite racistly. All right,
No, it's cool. I have a friend from Chicago. So
Yeah,
I'm
you know.
yeah.
So my friend from Chicago didn't live there initially. He moved there, so you
Yeah,
know. He wasn't born there. So anyway, let's get back to the needless subplot. So he gets chased by Santas
yeah.
in like a really long scene to the tune of
Yes.
I don't remember.
birds.
Oh yeah, bird is a word.
For no reason.
But what didn't they change the word to bad? I thought it sounded like bad.
Oh, maybe I have no clue. But anyway, it was
But
like
it kind of in that song. It kind of.
it's the
Yeah.
birds the word.
Ba, 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 ba.
For no reason, just to have it. Probably, I'm assuming the Family
the
Guy
Family episode
joke
had come
happened
out.
earlier, and they
Yeah.
were like, "We got to copy that." So, because that's
And
what
the
the kids
sound
like.
design in that scene is just
Oh yeah,
so subtle and on point.
oh yeah,
Oh,
it's like
it's
so
straight up
much.
Scooby Doo sound effects.
It's literally like
I mean, it is Warner
a
Brothers,
cartoon
Yeah.
spring
so
It's
at
like
one
they
point.
got
honk
the,
of horns and shit like that.
like a spring and
and he fights a bunch of Santas, and he gets tackled, and he gets thrown in jail. And then he's like,
And he
I'm in-
decides to turn his life around, and that's the end of the movie.
"Oh, sorry, we completely skipped the
kills
other
himself in
subplot
jail.
where he has a girlfriend whose birthday is coming up. Who's
oh my god,
Rachel Weisz?
Yeah.
the girl from the
she's
Mummy.
she's
The
a
girl
meter
from-
maid in Chicago
Yeah.
who's from London.
From London, yes. I got my visa to move to the U.S. to be a
to
meter
be a meter maid.
And then she's like, I'm going to move back to London. And he's like, I got
I'm
to...
moving back to London because you won't move in with me and
Yeah.
you don't remember my birthday.
Yeah, that's spot on, actually.
I know, I'm so good. Right?
And then he was like, "Oh, I'll take you out, baby, to a restaurant. This
And it-
fucking bonsai
what
restaurant."
was going on in that
Just
restaurant?
loads of racial stereotypes.
So yes,
Oh.
he tries to call her, and she's at the restaurant, and he's missing the date, and they're like doing like Muay Thai, no, like sumo.
It's like a sumo.
Well, it was people dressed as sumo, but the
doing, like,
wrestling style was
kickboxing.
like kickboxing.
Yeah.
yeah, it was very confusing. Some kind of weird fighting thing.
Yeah.
was
In
going
a
on.
bamboo cage.
Yes, and then the guy was being slammed against the side of the cage, and there were fart sound effects happening when his butt was hitting the cage. I mean, this is clearly a movie. They're like, we gotta get the kids on
It'd be
this.
so funny. The fart sounds.
I would say if you had a kid that came to this movie, they would be asleep. It
Yeah.
is way
Or
too
just, like,
boring and plot
being-
based.
like
Yeah, or they'd run
unfocused,
out
running
screaming
around.
because they see Kevin Spacey on the screen.
Hey,
Boom! Dunked it. There's gonna be a lot of Kevin
Gotcha.
Spacey
Yeah, it's
dunking
gonna-
happening.
if you don't,
It's
like
too
Kevin's-
easy.
Yeah,
Nobody likes Kevin Spacey anymore.
no, he
We tolerated him.
he's terrible.
it's just.
So
Oh, man.
anyway, yeah, that's true.
So then he gets the second.
His
phone
favorite
call.
musical is Dear Evan Hansen. All right, I'm done. Let's move on.
So Fred gets a second phone call because his first
Yes.
phone call didn't get answered, and
And
it's
who
almost
does he
Christmas. So he
So
calls
the-
his brother.
Yeah. The police man's like, it's almost Christmas. You get another.
It's like
phone
November
call."
20th at this point because he's like at a
Well,
month.
and that he says it's Christmas.
Yeah, he says
He doesn't
it's
say
Christmas.
almost. So I was
Yes.
like,
But it's for
does
sure
this all take
before
place
the
in one night?
22nd.
Yeah,
But
I
no,
know.
it's like several night. The
It's like a
timing
month
is
before Christmas
Right.
because he goes up to the North Pole and they're like, "We got 30 days to," and that's the main plot we'll get to. We gotta get through the 80s subplots. We haven't gotten to the subplot I mentioned when we got there because we gotta get there.
We'll get there.
But anyway, he calls Fred Claus and he's like, "I need the money."
Yeah, and he's also like, "Oh,
I also
hey,
need the
also I can make you $10,000. All you have to do is give me $50,000. I'll turn it around and give you $60,000 back." And I guess Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, is
She's heard this before.
she's giving Santa a hard time because he's a little bit too nice, and he gets taken advantage of. So he decides he's going to do some tough love, and say, "If you want the money, you're going to have to come here and work for it."
Yeah.
And then that's what magics Fred Claus into the North Pole.
Right. That thus begins our actual plot.
Yes.
But first,
there's a subplot
we have
that
to
John's
explore
circling that we have to circle back to.
So this like small child hops in, and it's the child that you may remember from like those Sony commercials because he was the PlayStation Vita commercials.
Yeah, he was in 30 Rock. He placed one of Tracy Jordan's
kids.
sons.
He's like, so he
he was in
I
he was in Role Models.
he was in a ton of fucking movies.
Yeah.
Like, in that time.
He's that little kid that looks like an adult.
Yes, and he's got that foul mouth.
Right.
And he's always like that. So he's like literally. I was gonna say like Different Strokes, like, but not a horrible adult who looks like a child for the rest of his life.
No, he's
just
a
a regular
child
kid.
that looks like, but he's got like an adult.
Yeah,
face.
he's good though. He's a great little
he's,
child
he's
actor.
great
funny,
delivery.
He's cute. I wonder what happened to him.
I think he just does stuff probably still. I got to assume.
Probably.
But anyway, his plot is like, I hang out with Vince Vaughn, and you're like, and Lauren was, what did you say? What was the point of this character?
Oh, I just assumed like what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, or no, like what was you said like the whole point of this character existing is to, or no, it was you that
I
said.
think it was
I
Matt,
said. I
yeah.
said that I have a feeling that this gruff exterior has a heart of gold behind
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Because you're seeing him do all the Vince Vaughn shtick, and then it's
Right.
like,
And then he's
oh,
like,
but he's real nice around this
nice
kid.
yeah.
And then Lauren, you guessed.
My guess was that by the end of the movie, he was going to adopt this.
Okay,
kid,
well, we'll
Vince
get to
Vaughn.
that. But whether that happened or not, if
Yeah,
you
so-
watch the movie, you'll know.
So what's this kid's
Please don't
parent
watch this
situation? Was he
Okay,
living with his?
yeah, what the fuck happened?
he lived with like his grandma, but also his aunt. But then his aunt would give him to her boyfriend. It was very.
It was a bad
confusing.
situation, which comes up later. But this plot literally has no point other than he shows up to be like, "Hey, what's going on, my
Hey,
friend?"
Vince Vaughn!
And then he's like,
Hey,
"All right,
I was watching you through a magic snow globe, and I saw that you repeated my bad words about Santa, so now I feel
That is
bad.
far later in the movie." I can't get to the child watching globe that Kevin Spacey wanted to know.
Got him.
God damn it! I have so many Kevin Spacey jokes.
I know. I wrote down at least 3, and
Yeah.
I have like a lot of others cooking.
Okay, so speaking of cooking, no, I'm kidding. I don't have anything for that.
So we're in the
where are we
North
at?
Pole.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. So then Santa sends his favorite elf,
His number one elf.
which is a CGI version, tiny version of John Michael Higgins, which
Yes.
is like he's from Best in Show.
Yes, he's in all the Christopher Guest movies.
in all the Christopher Guest
You know
movies.
him.
He's a character actor. He plays like Mr. Boner.
He's in that new show. Was it Morning News or what's it called?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know what
Tina
exactly
Fey
what it's
show.
called.
Anyway, on NBC.
You'd know him if you saw him. He shows up in the sleigh, and he's like this creepy, like it's like
This is the CG in the movie.
Yeah.
right.
They take normal actors, and I think they have dwarf
I think they have
actors
Yeah, dwarf
Dwarf.
bodies.
wearing like green screen faces.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they like put the actor's face on this. Or they did the Gandalf thing because they had shots where it was like pointed down at him.
Right.
And like one where it was like
But
from behind. And
on
it
a
was
scale
dwarf.
of Lord of the Rings to Hobbit, it was much more New Hobbit. Like it was all very heavily CG and
Yes.
not like in
they didn't
camera
try
tricks.
like to do camera tricks.
And
It
I
was,
just have to say, I think at some point I even said during the movie it was the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Like
Oh, yeah.
it was
Yeah.
so creepy.
yeah.
It gets into weird uncanny valley
Yeah.
territory because like the lighting doesn't match up on
Right.
their faces and stuff.
Yes, and when he gets up to the North Pole, you see like all the elves that are there, and it's a mix
horrible.
of it's a mix of actual dwarf
Of actual
actors.
dwarves,
It's
yeah.
a mix of Hollywood actors that are like CGI'd under dwarf faces or shot with the camera tricks. It's just a mix.
And then normal-sized people for some reason.
One normal-sized person.
There's a single normal-sized person.
Elizabeth Banks.
Besides the Clauses in the North Pole, and that's Elizabeth Banks, who, throughout the entire movie, although it takes place in the cold North Pole, wears an extremely low-cut top with a very short skirt.
She's Santa's little helper. Yeah. That's who she is.
Yeah, she
wasn't addressed in the movie, but I maintain that there's something going on.
There's
between
no
her
way
and
she's
Santa.
not fucking Santa,
there
right?
has to be.
Fucking Santa.
You got to imagine, like, all those people idolize Santa up there. Also, if everyone else is an elf, what the fuck is she? Just a person?
Yeah, where did she come from? You know what? I want a sequel to this movie that's just like, what the fuck is her backstory?
No, she just, like... she's just there and from October to December, and then she just flies back to fucking Sandusky, Ohio, where she works as some other thing.
She's the character that from the song Santa Baby.
Yeah,
that's
literally.
Who she is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, she's like, Santa, come up my chimney tonight.
Baby.
So, okay, sorry, I got a little blue there.
The more I thought about that, the more blue it got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, Santa's like, all right, you're gonna work for me, and we'll start tomorrow. You're bunking up with my head elf, what was his name? John Michael Higgins,
Willie,
and he.
Jan Michael Vince.
So he's Willie,
John C. Reilly,
and he goes into the room, and it's like a bunk bed.
Yeah,
First off, this is an inconsistency. If he lives alone in his room,
Why
does he
does he
have
have
a
a bunk bed?
But second, his brother is normal sized. Vince Vaughn is a 6'5" guy. He's a tall guy. I'm 6'5". He's like, get on this child's bunk bed.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he have a normal bed? This was a planned
It's Santa.
trip.
Have the fucking elves make him one.
Yeah,
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
Elizabeth Banks
has
supposedly
to
has
have a
normal-sized
normal-sized bed.
accommodations. So.
No, apparently not. She's
I also have to say that
well, maybe that's it. Maybe Elizabeth Banks was just wearing elf clothes.
that would explain why they were so
They're too
ill-fitting.
tight. Yeah.
And I also had another prediction, which unfortunately ended up to be wrong, which my prediction was Vince Vaughn's going to bone down with
No,
Elizabeth
didn't
Banks.
happen.
But it did
No,
not
it's
happen.
so much worse than that.
It's
Yeah.
much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's going on at the North Pole when he gets there?
Well,
This will introduce. We can finally.
can I read my just what
Oh,
I
wait,
have written on my
I wanted to kill myself before
yeah,
this, so I
okay.
should.
Yeah, I have a few more things before our evil person shows up.
Yeah.
Who is a truly evil person?
He's not evil. He just is gay. He came out as gay. That's all that happened.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all I
There's
read.
a difference between being gay and being a pedophile. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Well, not to the right, but whatever.
Yeah, not the Republicans.
But anyway, continue.
I have a note here that says little person ninjas. I don't know if either
That
of you want
actually
to...
is a good segue into my thing.
Yes.
Because that is when I made John pause it because I wanted to hang myself.
Yes.
That was 29 minutes and
Not even a
35
half
seconds
hour.
in.
Now,
and-
was it their sweet wire foo or the fact that their voices were artificially lowered a couple octaves?
Yeah.
Or their sweet sunglasses?
Yeah, there's like Secret Service elves that show
It
up.
was the first one.
And they like do a bunch of flippy shit and like fight Vince Vaughn because
For,
he's
no reason.
mouths
I don't
off
understand.
or something.
Like,
Yeah, he was planned to be there. Like this was a
Yeah.
trip planned.
yeah, it's not like he broke in. Like they fucking sent Willie out
Yeah,
to go get him.
Okay, so that's when Lauren wanted to die. Now, can we just get to my segue, which is I have written in my notes, Little People - Kevin Spacey.
Okay, but before that,
That's all I have written.
I don't want to delay this gratification
Okay.
too much, but I
No,
just
that's
wanted
okay.
to workshop something with you. I've written down
Okay.
Lil Chris. Is that anything?
Yeah, I wrote Ludachristmas, but that's directly stolen from 30 Rock.
Ludicrous?
Lil Chris.
What's Lil Chris?
This is a little ludicrous.
Yeah, okay. So, for our
Well,
listeners...
that's later on, though.
No,
but-
it
That
is
was before
not. It is not
That was
later on.
before K-Space.
That was
It was
before
really before
K-Space.
K-Pax showed up?
Got him.
No,
So,
I have it immediately after the Kevin Spacey thing.
So,
Ludacris Creepily Shrunken is
Yeah.
DJ for some reason.
The Ludacris dwarf CGI.
It's the worst.
Was by far the creepiest one.
You know what's really great about that CGI now that I'm thinking about it is that character is never not in that room, which means they just shot Ludacris's scenes apart from everyone else.
Did. That's so good.
You know what I mean?
That's why the lighting's so bad.
Yeah, Ludacris
Exactly.
is in this movie for no reason, is what we're getting at.
He's there.
No, he's in it so that his song could be over the end credits.
Yes, and the DJ is so Fred Claus is like starting his job. He's like going through like the people marked naughty and then like reading their case and then marking them naughty or nice depending on what he decides, and it's playing the same. The DJ is playing Christmas songs. He's playing
Santa
the same
Claus, Here Comes Santa Claus.
song
That's
over
what
and
he's
over
already
again.
always
And he's
playing.
freaking out about it. And so he goes in, and then he confronts Ludacris, and it's fucking like it's horrible CG because like the body is clearly mapped onto a different body,
It's
like the face.
It's true nightmare fuel.
It
What
really
is.
is.
It's nightmarish and horrifying, and I can't believe that anyone saw it and was like,
That's good enough.
Stop!
I wanted to clap.
Like hitting your microphone loudly.
I'm sorry, everyone.
It's okay. You just gotta. When you podcast, you can't use your hands to talk, Lauren.
Yeah.
You use your mouth to talk.
Use your face to talk.
Yeah, use your face
Make
to talk.
make the noise come
Talk
out
with
of your
face, out of the hole in
Talk
your
out of your
face.
talk out
Talk
of
in your face hole.
Okay,
Make your face
So-
Face hole.
face hole.
clap. I gotta get these elves listening to something
You could have
else.
just clapped. Just
I
like that.
can't clap. I knocked over my thing.
Well, you
Yeah,
can't.
just
You
use your
just
hands to clap.
what you do is
You
you
really
use your
just-
hands to clap.
Yeah.
But not on the microphone. You just back up.
Make
a
that
little.
microphone go clap.
Anyway, make that booty go clap, like Ludacris says. But anyway, yeah. So it's creepy, and he like kicks him out, and then he plays like the Elvis song, the little less conversation, a little more action.
Was that what it was?
Yes, I think so.
I
right?
thought it was a different Elvis weird remix.
Yeah, so
It
there
was
was
like a
like
weird-
It was a weird Elvis
mid
remix.
2000s. There was like this Elvis remix thing where they remixed a bunch of Elvis songs with like different DJs and shit, and they were like, yeah, there's that, and so all the Elvis started getting jiggy with it to that song.
Can we
that's
explore
outdated
the
even for this
implications
10-year-old
of
movie.
Santa making everyone listen to a song about him while they
Yeah,
work?
That's
He's
true.
either like an authoritarian dictator or
Also,
like
it's Here Comes Santa Claus. It's clearly directed at Elizabeth Banks.
yeah.
No,
I think he's I think he's a narcissistic psychopath.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of brought up.
that's
a little
brought up
bit,
numerous times
because
by
he's
Vince
like
Vaughn.
way kind of into how good he is, especially when he's a kid. Because he's like sees that Vince Vaughn's character's in a tree, and he's confiding with a bird. For some reason, this is happening. He's talking
Yeah, I guess
to a
Yeah, he
Vince
bird,
Vaughn
talks
can
to a
talk to
bird.
birds.
and the tree's cut down, and the bird house is smashed. And he's like, "I saw you like the tree so much. Let's bring it inside." Ha,
Which
ha,
is,
ha."
it's not that far away from Ed Gein being like, I like these people. I want to bring them into my apartment.
Exactly. He's like, let's cut this tree down. And I'm sure Vince Vaughn was like, I preferred the tree that I loved.
I
being
liked it when it
alive."
was alive.
Yeah, I liked it alive and sitting. I could still climb in it and talk to my bird. Also, the bird had a nest, so Santa Claus murdered a bird's family.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
Santa
just say
Claus
that.
murders bird children.
Yes, and also, I just have to say, overall, I really wish they would have done more, kind of mythical, magical stuff with
Yes.
Vince Vaughn being so, old and,
Yeah.
he could
Yeah.
talk to birds. It would have been a much more
No,
interesting
he's just a regular
movie.
Chicago dude.
Right. If he,
Yeah.
it would have been a much more interesting movie if,
Sweet
he
home
can live in
Chicago.
Chicago. Yes, he can live in Chicago. But if he was
Fly the W.
please stop. If he was this weird, super,
Cubs win.
kind of had seen all this weird shit go
Yeah.
down because if it was 1200, he's seen a lot of stuff happen,
Yeah.
and if
Speaking
he was
of-
kind of magical, that'd be way more interesting than
Yeah.
just I'm a guy and I haven't matured
I'm
at
a
all.
middle-aged man.
Speaking of our good Chicago guy, did either of you notice that in that scene where he was trying to yell to his girlfriend
Yes.
that the other character actors were not Chicago, they were
Yes.
New York stereotypes?
Yes, I wrote that down actually. I wrote Chicago people with New York accents.
Hey, we're trying to sleep up here.
Hey, my ma, she
Hey.
gotta eat her pasta.
I'm walking here, is what he said to the guy on the ground.
Yeah, it was I wrote that down because I was like, this isn't fucking
It's like,
Chicago.
you guys can't even get your stereotypes
yeah,
right.
and Chicago is very easy. You could be like,
I'm trying to
"Hey,
watch the Bears.
I'm trying to watch
I
the
got
Bears.
some
I got
sausage."
my pizza.
Ditka.
Dicka.
Ditka's number one.
Dicka. But then who flies into the North Pole, the new North Pole, the North
Here
New
it
Pole?
comes. I'm so excited.
in his black
exactly
helicopter.
What Kevin Spacey said when he showed up at the. Anyway.
But our villain of the piece,
Yes.
Mr. I don't know what his name is.
Clyde.
Clyde.
Okay,
Mr.
I'm
Clyde.
glad you wrote
The
that
efficiency
down.
expert.
I don't think I
Efficiency
ever
expert,
knew.
who is there on behalf of the board who
board.
might shut down Christmas.
This is literally the only explanation of why he's there. I honestly think he's a predator who showed up. I'm from the
Dude.
board. I'm going to shut you down and let me hang out with those elves a little bit, boys.
Yeah. Okay. And
let's
thus
just
begins.
skip ahead a little bit to my note. Absolutely no one is to know why I'm here, especially the elves.
He says
Kevin
this,
Spacey.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, we literally all wrote that quote.
I wrote that quote down because it, and not to mention, since he's the bad guy, you see like this delightful elves, these little people, these little men making toys, and then it cuts to Kevin Spacey, and there's this ominous music because he's
Yeah,
the bad
it's so
guy.
weird.
And it's just really weird knowing what we know now that he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So do we want to get to our Kevin Spacey jokes? 'Cause
Yeah, I only
I'm
have
ready.
one.
I've got one.
Okay, guys.
I
Let's,
have one later too, but I think it
I have
should
a
come
couple
up.
Kevin Spacey jokes,
I've already said a few here,
but yeah, I'm gonna say one of mine later
I have my written
because
one.
it's kind of based on the plot.
I have my written one here. Starring.
I'll say mine first because I think it's the least funny.
Okay,
It's,
fair enough.
it's not very imaginative. It's just Kevin Spacey in Wonderland.
Yeah. Okay, good. No, that's the title of this movie. Alternate title. Lauren, you got one?
Okay, so there's a part where Kevin Spacey walks in on the elves and they're all dancing to the
Yes.
Elvis song
Yeah, yeah.
that Vince Vaughn is playing,
Yes.
and he said, "These elves need to learn some discipline." And I think after that he said, "I will deliver the discipline."
Yes.
My joke isn't really to a line, but I was gonna say, Kevin Spacey went to the North Pole to steal the list of naughty boys.
No.
It's
Because
kind
there's a point where
Yeah.
he has like a
Similar
naughty
to mine
list at
later.
one point. There's a part later at the
Yes.
end, which we all made jokes about that I'll leave for you guys. But yeah, there's a point where literally there's an orb in which you can name a child and watch them. This is
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey's
And it
Wonderland.
doesn't just have to be a child, but of course it would be Kevin.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, because Vince Vaughn looks in
In
on
many
his
cultures.
girlfriend, who gets asked out by the
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
by Jeffrey
By
Dean Morgan.
Negan!
Yeah, and it's like,
I am Negan.
dude, you're trading up there, lady. Like,
Yeah.
I would go out with him. Like,
Yeah, he's like a rich guy too, and he's like,
Like, how
oh.
crazy is it that they paid him to be in that movie for like 10
I
seconds?
know, it's insane.
It could have just been any nameless,
It could've-
faceless,
like just
handsome
like
guy.
a generic handsome dude, and it
Yeah.
would still, and everyone would still be like, "Oh, I'd
That
go
was
out
like,
with
we couldn't
him.
afford Patrick Warburton, so let's get this guy.
I
I've
would argue
seen-
that
so-
I'd rather go out with Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Patrick Warburton's not doing that
be like-
much today.
I don't know.
Patrick Warburton would be like,
He was in Better Watch Out, which you and Lauren should watch.
okay.
Is that the horror
the horror
Christmas
movie.
movie
Yeah.
you're telling me about?
Patrick Warburton would be like, please brace yourselves for my Patrick Warburton impression.
I'm
Okay.
bracing.
Do you want me to turn your mic down? Are you going to be extremely loud
Do you
now?
want, should we
I'm not
pitch
gonna
you
be loud.
down like one of the elves?
Yeah.
You should pitch me down.
Okay.
They'd be like, hey, I saw you writing that ticket there. I was wondering if you'd maybe want to go to...
That was pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie.
Thank you.
A little quiet, but good.
I mean,
We'll fix it in
I'm trying to
post.
make my voice lower, and that's like almost
as
as
low
low
as
as
you
I
can
can go.
Yeah, just like, I'm Patrick Warburton.
Hey, I'm...
I don't
do you
even
wanna-
like honey.
Do we want to try and do a count of all of the shitty movie tropes that were in this?
Okay, why don't you start? Because I didn't write those down. So
Holy.
if you... All right,
I didn't.
so I'll count them.
Teach a character how to dance.
Yes, that totally
Yes,
was a thing.
that happened because we didn't even mention this plot point
Yes,
because
there's a
there's
side
50
plot.
plots in this movie. Which is
Jan
that
Michael Vincent,
Jan Michael Vincent, aka Willie the Elf, aka the guy from Best
John
in
Michael
Show.
Higgins.
John Michael Higgins wants to
AKA Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
wants to bang Elizabeth Banks, and so Vince Vaughn teaches
But
him.
she doesn't know his name. She
Yeah,
clearly
she
isn't-
just keeps like,
doesn't recognize
what's your
him.
name? And so Vince Vaughn teaches him how to dance. And then he like falls over
Yes.
when she walks in, and then he like fucking cries for like 3 days
Yeah, he's
because
like, she saw
I
me
fell on
screw
my
up."
face in front of my crush. It's like, okay, I've fallen
Okay,
on
you're like 45 or 50 years old. You
Right.
can handle it.
It's like I've fallen on my face in front of every guy I've ever had a crush on, and I'm currently engaged to be married, so I think you're fine.
Yeah, for now, you fall down. It's over.
Okay.
Okay,
No, so
another one I had was
so we got one.
the mysterious board that'll
Yep.
shut
Yeah,
people
the
down.
board.
The
Yeah.
board.
Which is never explained.
yes.
Never, like,
So they're
referenced.
an
Completely
evil
arbitrary
corporate
3
type
strikes.
person.
I want to get to the whole plot too as well because they're like 3
Which one?
strikes and we're shutting you down,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, there's still 3 strikes, but they don't get shut
But
down.
they don't get shut down.
Because there's
It's
like
like in It's a
circumvented by
Wonderful
some
Life when
fake-ass
everyone
rule.
gives him that money,
Yeah.
but it's like there's still money that's missing, though.
Yeah.
Just because the
Yeah.
There was
town
money
gave
stolen.
you money doesn't mean that this other money wasn't
So we got
stolen.
2. Another point, Kevin Spacey goes to their dinner. Wasn't invited, but it's like, the boss comes over to dinner to see the family
yeah,
argue.
Boss comes over.
Also, this one goes back, but
Okay.
also like Vince Vaughn won't commit to his girlfriend.
That's true.
Oh,
There's a trope.
yeah.
Middle-aged guy won't commit to a relationship.
Which, in some ways, is fair because like
It's Rachel Weisz.
Well, no, but
Well-
But the thing is, like, she's gonna keep getting older and like grow old, but he's gonna stay the same.
That's true. You're right.
You know, like
Yeah.
eventually she's gonna be like, "How do you
He's
look
got to
like
pick
this?
up a
We've
chick
been
that's like
together
18
for
just to get the
40
mileage
years."
out of it. Because then you get like 20 years before you dump them.
Yeah.
A lot of jokes I could make based on the current.
Okay, what other
state of the
tropes
world.
are happening in this movie?
Oh God.
Well, then there's the like the whole like this guy.
The brothers fighting and then suddenly confessing a
Yes.
secret to each other after
yes,
they
yes, they
finish
like
fighting.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a big fight sequence where they're throwing snowballs at each other, and then they like get into like a snowmobile accident together, and then they are like,
But
"No, I don't hate you," and then they have a little heart to
They
heart,
throw it out, yeah.
but not really. They're still fighting, but yeah, it's the
it's like a
trope.
weird thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of tropes, and one other trope was the just like the classic like. They have like a weird intervention at some point with him, and
Yeah.
they're like, "You can't
And
do."
like his girlfriend shows up.
Yeah. in
They
the
have
North
they have a therapist there who doesn't have any lines
No.
in
He
the
doesn't
movie.
even do anything.
Yeah, because Vince Vaughn just kind of Vince Vaughn's over everybody else, and so
This is the worst like intervention ever.
okay. Another thing we got to bring this up because in the Santa Claus they have a thing called the SOS protocol, which is the Secret of Santa protocol, and Santa needs to be kept a secret to have his power or whatever. In this movie, nah, you can come up to the North Pole. It's cool.
Are we getting to Brothers
You're
Anonymous?
Yes, we can get there, but it's like we can get anyone up to the North Pole. It's fine. You can bring your girlfriend up here. You're not even engaged or married to her or anything.
Yeah.
Let's bring this lady up here and this therapist. You know, you
Yeah.
can come up here too. And so like this is crazy. And speaking of Clyde, the fucking auditor guy from the board, he's not some sort of like mystical creature because he mentions
Like the
we're gonna
Tooth
have
Fairy.
to have cutbacks, and the Tooth Fairy is only 1 tooth per kid
We're
now.
cutting the Easter
Cutting
Bunny.
the Easter Bunny out. Okay, but he's just a normal kid. We find out later who didn't
Yeah.
get like
Yeah.
a present he wanted.
Yeah.
1 year because he was bad.
So why
like,
does he
why did
own
he
this
even-
family of immortals?
Right. Where did he
What
even get
happened?
his job? Like, I see. This is the Fred
well,
Claus
he's
3.
Clyde. He's Clyde Mart
Clyde.
of the Walmarts.
Well, I think Clyde. I think he's an enforcer, but he's not a head. I think the heads of this mystical creature board are probably the old gods, and I think they can unmake
Like Cthulhu?
existence. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm liking this lore.
Can we have a quick sidebar where we
Yes.
discuss which old gods are on this board? So Cthulhu.
Yep.
Do you think Zeus
Mm,
or is Ra?
What about like the Titans that existed before?
yeah, I think
Zeus?
more Titans than actual like Greek
Okay.
or
like
Roman.
these aren't like
the real like monstrous ones that
Mm-hmm.
are just kind of inferred.
Ra?
yeah, like
Do you
the
think
giant
Ra's
space
there?
whale
Just-
that
yeah.
existed.
Oh, the Leviathan?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
something. You know, like
There's a
there's all-
Leviathan,
it's all
Okay.
definitely.
there.
Now I'm getting it.
Yeah, this is like the Council of Elders.
Okay.
This is like Sele from Neon Justice Evangelion.
There's like a weird geometric space
Shadowy
that can't
council.
actually exist in 3D
Yeah.
space. And if you look
It
at
just,
it,
like,
you'll
I
go
Go
really
mad.
wish there would have been a hint about what that was, though. The movie literally tells nothing about
The
it.
thing is, they like started to set up all this crazy like potentially interesting lore,
Yes,
and then
yes.
they didn't
do anything
explain
with
it or do anything with it.
This Clyde guy literally could have just, like I said before, been a child predator moving up to there.
Right, just some
saying,
weirdo.
I'm from the Bureau.
In my mind, the board is comprised of the old gods from Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
The ones that need the blood sacrifice.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
So Santa needs to provide his blood sacrifice of the children.
I want to
Naughty
say this.
children.
I'm going to say my lore is the board is like all of the CEOs of Walmart and Target and shit, and they're like, we got to get this free present shit shut down.
Yeah.
Get in there, shut this
Yeah.
fucking shit down.
Yeah.
Because if Santa disappears, the legend's going to remain. People are still going to expect Christmas presents, and then who buys them?
The parents.
The parents.
Parents.
Santa is real, by the way. We're not going to break Santa protocol
Yeah.
here. This is not accurate to the real Santa story. This is some obvious reimagining, but
I mean, Santa's real, but also Black Peter is real, and he will take you if you're bad.
oh yeah,
That's the
and the
Krampus.
Krampus.
Fort
No,
Pete-
both Fort Pete.
I thought Fort Pete brought presents to the children.
No,
No,
Fort,
he brings switches.
Oh yeah, Fort Pete.
He'll beat you
He'll
and
beat
take you.
my ass. I have no fucking clue. I just know that Fort Pete.
I just know
Black
that Fort
Peter
Pete.
is the shadow of Santa Claus.
I
He
just-
follows in his wakes.
I just know that Fort Pete is a man in blackface. That's what I know.
So that's what it's portrayed as, but I think in the like the mythology, he's more like just a void person.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he's not like.
But he's super racist
Like,
in all
why
of
do
his
they do the
portrayals.
lips like that?
So he has a falling out with Santa, and he goes back to Chicago to.
So Fred Claus is Black Peter.
Yes, that's what we're saying. He
Yes.
really is,
I think so.
Okay.
but he's not black because this is a Hollywood. We can't have a black
This
actor
is-
star.
this is
movie.
Unless if he's
Hollywood.
a smart mouth
2007.
kid.
2007, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't have a black person in there.
I think this 2007. Let's think about actors here. I think this would have been Denzel. This would have been a better movie. It would have been very different,
Ooh,
but
I
in a
like
good
that,
way.
Actually.
I think Denzel could be funny too. It could work. Will Smith, that could have been good too. Would have been different, especially if it was still Paul Giamatti as his brother.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to do the David Schwimmer thing where they wanted David Schwimmer for Men in Black and they had to rewrite it for Will Smith.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. He was going to be,
That movie would have been so shitty
It
without
would've.
Will Smith.
but
Like,
they
give
would
Will
have brought Will
credit
Smith
there.
in and completely rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah, that movie is actually one of the few good Will Smith movies. That first Men in Black one.
Yeah.
Other ones after that, not so good. But
What, you didn't like fucking.
no, my favorite was the 7 pounds, 5 bodies, whatever the fuck that movie was, where he gives
7
away all his
pounds.
body parts.
Where
and
he,
stuff.
I
like-
like the Men in Black movie where he teaches men how to hook up with ladies.
I just like. Okay. I
That's
never.
a Hitch. You
Yeah.
meant?
That's Hitch. I've
With
never
Kevin
seen
James.
Collateral Beauty, but when I saw the trailer and he says, "They're trying to make my mind right," I
Yeah.
out loud said, "Oh no!" in the theater.
Hancock is one of the worst movies. Have you
It's-
seen Hancock?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It
'Cause-
starts off kind of.
Yeah, it's
cool.
funny, and then they're like, "Okay, let's have a serious plot now."
Yeah.
Like enough having
bad.
fun with this homeless-looking superhero guy. Let's have a
Let's make this a
ridiculously
real
complicated
garbage dump.
plot.
Fred
With-
Claus.
Fred Claus. Sorry, we got off on a tangent because there's not much there at Fred Claus. But anyway,
I mean, there's
It
a lot
barely-
there. It just none of it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it barely.
this
qualifies as a
movie would be so fucking boring. Because
Yeah.
when we look at the references that happen in the Siblings Anonymous segment, where he goes
Yes.
goes to go
wanna talk
Siblings
about that.
Anonymous. This is for like kids or people who have brothers who are more famous than
Yes.
them, or
And-
sisters possibly, but there's no sisters. It's all
Yeah,
men.
yeah.
And
It's
this-
called
and this-
Siblings Anonymous, but it's all men. I don't
This
understand.
plays into the who is this movie for?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's name some Siblings Anonymous we seen. I
Oh.
think we start with Frank Stallone.
Frank Stallone.
Frank
yes.
Stallone is the first one.
Actually, he lives in
whoa,
Chicago.
Before we even go through the names, like the way it's framed and the way it's like shitty celebrity.
Oh, we're good.
Which
Okay.
celebrity siblings are going to be in this? 'Cause
Yes.
you can just tell it's setting you up for that kind of
Right.
Let's
thing.
take a pause
it-
here. I just want to make sure the recording is going to not be deleted because
Okay.
it sucks.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we'll get back to Siblings Anonymous after a break.
I'll grab a beer.
Sing Noel, Noel, ring the Christmas bell. Ding dong ding, everybody sing to the new songs of joy we bring to the newborn King. Sing Noel, Noel, ring the Christmas bell. Ding dong ding, everybody sing to the newborn King.
All right, we're back from the break. We're refreshed. We got our drinks on, ready to talk about Siblings
We've
Anonymous.
sipped on some syrup.
I've sipped on some LaCroix and Sizzurp, which is my favorite mix.
Siblings Anonymous.
I'm way into LaCroix now.
So it was called as I sort of mentioned earlier, it was called Siblings Anonymous, yet it was 100% brothers because
Yes.
there was not a single woman in that
Yeah,
room.
and it starts with Frank Stallone talking about his more famous brother, and like, I don't even know what I am anymore. And it's like, it's
More
Frank
like,
Stallone.
you know I'm more because he's
Yeah.
a Stallone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
And I'm like, Frank, I didn't know who you were before. So.
Okay, and then to show you how completely pointless the references are in this movie, the second brother there, it just looks like some fucking rando guy, and we're like, who the fuck is this guy? And he says, like, I'm, like, what was it? I'm Roger Clinton.
Yes, the half-brother of Bill Clinton is in this movie.
And we're like, wait, I didn't even know Bill Clinton had a brother.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
Googled him, of
Yes.
course, and the image that pops up first is a mugshot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
DUI. He's not a great guy, but he's in this movie. It says he's an actor, but he doesn't really act in anything. So
No, he's been in this and Biodome.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
So anyway, speaking of Biodome, we have a Baldwin brother as well. It's not the Biodome Baldwin brother. That's Stephen Baldwin.
It's Stephen Baldwin.
Oh, sorry. That's who's the Baldwin in that
Is it
one?
Billy Baldwin?
No.
Alec Baldwin.
Those are the only Baldwins I know, and I know there's more.
What's the Biodome guy?
Jim Bob Baldwin.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Jim Bob
Well,
Baldwin.
John takes 2 hours to
I'm
look
sorry.
this
I have
up.
to Google up Biodome. I don't have it saved.
I just wrote some Baldwin, and later I found out it was Steven.
It might be
because
the
they're all
same
the
one.
same.
It's Stephen Baldwin shows up and is talking about how whatever his brother's upstaging him.
It is
So
Stephen
then-
Baldwin. Okay. He's the one that doesn't get to work in Hollywood because he's religious. So
Yeah, that's why.
they're out for him.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw him talk at a Christian music festival I went to when I was in high school.
Wow.
It's not too late to call off this engagement.
It's okay. Life Fest I was at.
Oh, Life Fest!
And
I've
he-
heard of
And
that.
he
Yeah, me
talked
too.
there. I went with a big group of the Baptist church in town. Was the Catholic church
Oh,
kid.
why were you there?
Because
Was
they
some girl that looked like an old woman that you wanted to bang
yes. She doesn't look like an old woman.
Very specific.
I mean, that's why I was there.
there?
Yes.
Look, just like a lot of the girls that he's wanted to bang look like
Stop.
old women.
Stop. Why?
No,
why?
tell me more about John.
Stop.
I don't know why, because I don't look like an old woman, right?
Lauren
I don't
dated a
look like-
fucking magician,
You dated a musician?
a professional magician
When was this? Where was this?
in high school. He wasn't a professional yet.
To be fair, it was high school.
He has been on Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
What's his
as
name?
a professional magician.
What's his name?
Frederick Falk.
I'm gonna find a Google.
You're gonna Google him? I can find him.
He is
for
the
you.
worst, nerdiest person I've ever seen. He's like all full steampunk gear.
Oh man.
Oh God! See now,
He's a clean-shaven blonde man.
You-
What was I thinking?
you come at me. You better come correct, Lauren, because I know things about you. So anyway,
We saw him on
Fool Us,
and
yeah.
I nearly died. Are you looking up his fucking Fool Us? We can... No!
I'm a close-up magician. The lifestyle of any performing artist
He's gonna fucking sue you.
starting out with
He is just...
It's fair
he
use.
cannot take a joke.
really helped me a lot to prepare for that. Everything goes into creating a character. When I put on the wardrobe, when I get ready for a show, I go from
I've
being
made
this
out with
other
that
tall,
guy.
blonde, young guy to this character. There are a lot of correlations between the character that I've created and why so much of the magic that I create has to do with
I
time.
hate...
That's what interests me.
that's Lauren's ex-boyfriend. None of my
Fred Falk.
ex-girlfriends have ever gone on to do anything like that. So
He's not even that tall. He's like 6 foot, which is like tall, but it's not like tall.
yeah, there's a girl I liked that I wanted to date.
Was she a magician?
No, she's a lady golfer.
fucking-
Does that make it better or worse? But anyway, no, that didn't work out. She actually, no, we talked about this on the podcast before because there was a point where I was like, I was hanging out with these religious like people. It's because all of my friends were in the Baptist church, and the Baptist church was brand new, and they had a fucking basketball court in there. And they would play like tag and shit, and it was like with like all this fucking Baptist money they had to buy all this sports equipment. So it was like really cool. It was near the high school, so it was like a hangout place for teens. That didn't drink because I was a loser and didn't drink.
Yeah, me neither.
So
Fix that now.
But yeah, there was a point
We
where
are currently.
But we've talked about that on the podcast before because there was a point when I would talk to her and I was just like, "Oh, you're like really bad. Like your views in the world are not. We're going different directions on these things. Like, okay, never mind. Like I had this idea in my head of what you were like, and then you're not at all that person. So goodbye."
Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah. So anyway,
Had you married her, you'd have like 4 children.
Oh yeah, 4 children. I'm sure I would be happy on the outside, but dead on the inside. So that's good.
Just like Fred Claus.
Yes, that is the best way to describe this movie, Matt. Happy on the outside, dead on the
sheen
inside.
of happiness with just no soul.
That sounds like every Kevin Spacey victim I've ever heard. Okay. Dead on the inside.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. So yeah, Stephen Baldwin was the other Siblings Anonymous.
Yes.
You guys ready for your joke that you were going to say? Because
I don't think I wrote it down.
No, because we haven't gotten to it.
I
yet
have it
for
written
me.
down as the next thing. So what's next in the movie then? Because
I don't have anything written down between Siblings Anonymous and the big delivery sequence.
Yeah,
so I don't know if
Okay.
a movie happened in between then.
So
there was it was so cookie cutter. It was
Okay.
like literally like, oh,
Right.
I've seen what like these brothers are, and I actually
Right.
do like my brother, so I'm going to go and save him.
Yeah.
And he took the money out that he was saving up for that restaurant to like go to the North Pole.
right, and also, yes.
There's like a travel sequence where he flies up to the North
So
Pole.
that happens, and also Vince Vaughn sees like in his magical snow globe.
Yep.
He sees the boy from earlier.
Yes.
Tracy Jordan's son.
Yep.
Who I think is Tracy Jordan Jr. in the show.
Yeah, so they also say like, oh, there's a new worst boy on the list, and it's that kid's name.
and it's that kid.
And you see him, he gets into an argument
Right, about Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, and he's like, Santa Claus is fake. It's the same speech he gave to the kid about Santa Claus because he was mad about it. He was like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid here. He's not some nice guy. He just is, in it for himself. And
Yeah, and so then after that, Vince Vaughn gets like mad that this kid is going to be naughty and not have any presents.
Yes.
So he takes his.
Oh, this is before he goes to Siblings Anonymous, then, isn't it?
I don't know,
Yeah, because
I don't know,
that's
the
when he
whole
gets
movie's a mess.
That's when he gets kicked out because
Yeah.
because he
does.
stamps every kid nice because he wants every kid to have a toy.
Right, and this is where my Kevin Spacey joke comes in. Kevin Spacey is very angry that he stamped every kid nice.
Yes.
Because Kevin Spacey would like some of the boys to be naughty.
He doesn't want all the kids to be nice.
All right,
Right, he
mine's
wants
later
some
than
naughty.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I said it out loud, so you might remember it, though.
So anyway, so he names all, and then that's the strike number 3. Strike number 1 was dancing. Strike number 2 was fighting his brother in the street or whatever. And then strike number 3 was you can't meet your quota physically because
and
Right.
so this is the loophole that allows them to like pull the happy ending
Yes.
out. So if he actually does meet the quota, then he doesn't get that.
Oh,
third
okay.
strike.
Because he's like, physically, I'm going to fire you because there's no way you can make this quota. Obviously,
Yeah.
you can't. The numbers aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vince Vaughn gets kicked out because he's like, well, I've been fired. There's all those elves. Yeah, so he goes down. He does the Siblings Anonymous thing. And then he's like, I got to go help my brother. And he comes back up.
And somehow he treks back to the North Pole. I kind of glossed over that.
How did he
in
get
my-
there? Oh, he took the sleigh the first time.
yeah,
he-
I don't remember how he did it.
Well, he,
the
like,
a
second time.
bunch of modes of
Yes,
transportation.
he took like a car. He took like a boat.
Wasn't
he
he on a
flew.
dog
Blacked
sled
out.
at
He was
some
on a
point?
dog sled at one
Oh
point.
yeah. I remember this now.
And he's like, thanks, I'll take it the rest of the way. Like, and then he trudges in. He's like, all right, I got a plan.
We're
Oh,
gonna make
should-
baseball bats for the
So,
boys and
we
hula
should-
hoops for all the girls.
Yeah, and we
That
should-
way, every kid gets a present, and we meet the quota, even though it's not what they asked for.
Right. We should also mention that while he was marking every child nice, this horrific, like, violin horror movie music was playing, While he's like marking every kid nice, it's like,
Yeah.
he's doing like a good thing.
The scoring in this movie was very dark and sinister.
yeah, it was
even
very,
like
It was inconsistent as well.
Well, I thought it seemed like what they were trying to do is a juxtaposition between a light movie and a dark soundtrack.
Yeah.
But since the movie didn't land well at all, it just seemed like horror movie music out
Yes.
of place.
Yeah.
Especially whenever like Kevin Spacey's around. So literally you have because he's
Which,
the bad guy.
to be fair,
So like they
Yeah,
literally
he's like-
have this like Kevin Spacey stalking around all of these little men, and it's like
Yeah, he's like the bad guy from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
just like skulking in the
Yeah.
corner and bad like
and preying on little boys.
cello music is playing and stuff. And then there's a big speech where he's like trying to get Vince Vaughn to betray his brother.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The big
That's-
tree grows in the small
Yeah, there's,
tree
like,
in the
some
shadow
weird-ass,
is
like, fucking
can't get any
language.
sunlight until the big tree is cut down or some shit like that.
Yeah, he's like clearly there to just fuck Santa up, and then you learn later he's because he was slighted as a child and didn't get his toy.
Which is that I think is also a Christmas movie trope.
Yes,
So maybe we can add that to
you're
the
totally
list.
right. That's like 6 tropes now that we've got. You're totally right though, because like, who the fuck remembers when they didn't get the present they asked for?
Yeah, you just
like,
remember that.
You're just like, oh, I got a lot of them.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Because your parents would be like, you can't ask for that.
I remember the shitty presents that I got that I can't believe that I wanted. Like the Cyberco.
What's that? Can you explain?
This was like a Palm Pilot for children before smartphones
You're a
existed.
fucking nerd.
It was like it had games and shit on it.
Dude, every Tiger Electronics game that I have was like, why did I want this?
Yeah.
I wanted this Barbie that you could like. It was weird. You could like push, and she would walk. And it's like this. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like the fucking stupidest toy to want. But I wanted it so bad, and I got it, and I was so happy.
Yeah. That's really, I mean, it's just kind of like, why? I'm trying to think of what.
And so many pound puppies.
What was your
but I
what was
stand
your
by them.
best Christmas gift that you got? Your favoriteest.
Christmas?
I got this.
I got mine too.
I have my
Connects
best
roller
birthday
coaster set.
A what?
Connects roller coaster set.
Oh, dude, I got so many Connect sets, but we never got the big one. That is awesome.
By the way, shout out to the Connects Ferris wheel that made several
Yeah,
appearances
there
in
was
this
like
movie.
a huge ass Connects Ferris wheel.
yeah, I loved Connects when I was a kid. So
Okay, we were just doing Christmas.
yeah,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay.
No, this is a birthday movie that we
Look,
watched.
I have my best birthday
What's your
gift.
best Valentine's Day gift?
Pizza. No, my best Christmas gift was a Nintendo 64.
Same one. Yep,
Yeah.
that was the best gift. I think it's because that must have come out like around.
Okay, and I should
Christmas.
say,
it was like November, so it was like the hot gift to get
I
kids.
should say the reason I'm asking, are we just doing Christmas, is because my best birthday gift was a literal pony. So
Way to fucking brag.
Oh, I'm
boy.
Lauren. I have
Oh, I
ponies.
got a fucking
I'm a horse
pony.
girl. My only criticism of Roy Moore is how bad he is at riding horses.
no. That's untrue. I have many criticisms of Roy Moore.
He did ride
The
that
least
horse
of which
poorly.
is him riding the
I
horse
really
terribly.
loved watching horse Twitter freak out about that, though. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is a whole subset
I mean, he
of people
literally
that
almost falls off like 8 times.
Yeah, the way he holds his reins is a complete mess. There's a lot of his stirrups are too long. There's a lot of
Okay, I got some Kevin Spacey jokes coming up here, so we got to get
coming
through.
up.
We're getting close to the end here.
All right.
So it's like, okay, so Santa, he goes back up there. Let's make all the toys, and they're able to make the number of toys they need. And he's like, all right, we got the toys. We can make the quota. You got to go do it. And Santa's like, no, I'm tagging you in, bro. I'm tagging you in, bro. Because it's like apparently he's so
Because Santa's,
devastated
like,
by the
sad,
news
and he just
that he is
can't
like,
go.
he's like, I literally can't get up. And like at no point, literally moments earlier, they were in a fucking snowmobile fucking fight to the death, like jumping all over each other, no problem.
Yeah, I don't know what his.
so-
I
I think it's gout.
unclear.
Yeah,
Gout?
Yeah. Oh my
That's
god.
fair.
So Santa, yeah, it's like you can't do it. You got to do it, and it's like only a Claus can do it. And it's like
Who
I think-
makes these goddamn rules?
Yeah,
I think at that point too, the three of us had like a unison groan when he was like only a Claus. I think all three of us were like,
The only thing that would have been worse is if they called it like the Claus.
Yeah.
oh my god, I would have actually. I would have
If
like
this was
leaped
a
out
Tim
the window.
Allen movie, that's what they
That's
would
what
say.
it would have been called.
yeah. So let's talk about some of the. Can you tell your Kevin Spacey joke, please? Because I want to talk about the thing.
So I didn't write it down, but I think it was something. So they had a book that was like the directory of
It
children.
was
and
literally the Children of the World directory.
Yeah, that's what
and
it was
then
called.
I said Kevin Spacey wants to get his hands on
Yes,
that.
correct.
That's why he's actually
Yeah, I
there.
wrote that down. I was like, Kevin Spacey. That's why he came up there. He wanted to steal the Children of the World directory. So yeah, then we have a supercut of like him delivering presents all over and not being great at it, but trying real hard.
And like eating
It's
cookies.
just like I wrote down monuments on shuffle because it's like recognizable landmarks, but
Yeah,
they
of
don't make
every-
any sense geographically.
geographically. It's like the pyramids, and then
I want to.
And then like the
St.
Sydney
Louis
Opera
Arch
House and
and
the
the
St.
Sydney
Louis
Opera, yeah.
I wanted to bring this up too because this is the thing that a lot of like Christmas movies do is they're like, okay, Santa's like Santa of the world, but we're only going to ever show kids in the U.S. And up until the point where he did that, like they would like show like snippets of kids being naughty as like a thing, it's like literally the naughty children viewing globe, which Kevin Spacey spent all of his time around. But he was just like, but it was always like American kids, and it's like this is clearly not just America. But then at that point, I was like, are they only going to have him deliver presents in America and then never mention worldwide Santaism, which is like a dumb thing to say about this movie? I have a problem, but I don't know. At this point, we got a lot of problems. At one point, he's like, he's not going to have enough time. Kevin Spacey says, by the time the sun rises, it'll all be over. And I wrote, Kevin Spacey says to all of the 14-year-old boys.
So you are going to make a supercut of all of Kevin Spacey's
He
lines
has some
from
Like,
this
lines
movie,
creepy
right?
lines.
in a context that we have now.
Now that we know, is incredibly creepy.
Oh my God! It's Kevin
so
Spacey's
cringy.
Small Child Gnome Adventure.
Yeah.
Is the movie. Okay, and so let's bring up the number one failure that every single Santa movie has, except for
time
the Santa
situation?
Claus. Except for the Santa Claus, because the Santa Claus, again, I'm saying it again, has the SOS protocol where they make up for the point that parents don't believe in Santa Claus because it's like a secret kept. And so it's
That's
supposed to not exist.
Still
It
doesn't make any sense, though.
I know, but at least they attempt to have a reason of why parents don't believe in Santa, but kids do, because like Santa doesn't exist. It's a secret. It doesn't exist, but for some reason they still get presents that nobody gave
Yeah,
out.
where did the parents think the presents come
I don't
from?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
if that's
wouldn't
Where
it-
did
explained.
that box of Seen It come from?
But in this one, oh my God, can you talk about that?
Well, first, I want to address the orphanage scene.
Yes.
Where, so this kid that he was neighbors with, he got hauled off to an orphanage. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yes.
Tracy Jr.
And he's
And then
been
Kevin
wanting a puppy.
Spacey is on the edge of his bed.
No, he's been wanting
Sorry.
a puppy this whole time.
Yes.
And what do you get? A child in
He's
an
in
orphanage?
Yes.
A living
living
creature
thing. Yeah,
to
you get him
take
a
care of.
puppy.
So he got him a puppy.
Yeah. That puppy's getting taken away immediately.
Yeah.
By Child Services.
Like, while I appreciate whatever that he gets what he wants for Christmas, it's
Yeah.
the whatever implications of him having to take care of this
Yeah.
puppy.
The implications
when
for that puppy.
he
are
can
not
barely like he's in an orphanage. There's no way he could keep this dog.
Yeah, and so he's like, "There's no way we can make it." And then like Santa is like finally up out of bed or whatever. He's gotten his strength up because it's like, "Oh my God, maybe he'll make it." And then he goes over to Clyde and he's like, "Four-eyed Clyde." That's what they call it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
He's
this
like,
fucking shitty ass.
You wanted that Superman cape, but he never gave it to you because you were on the naughty list. And he's like, "Oh, this is why. The whole reason you fucked all of my shit up."
I didn't
was-
get one stupid little piece of cloth.
Yeah, exactly. When I was a kid, and he gives him the present, and they're like, "Fine," but he's like, "I can't help him now. Like, I turned the power off. It's over. Like, we can't do anything." He's like, "Well, we can do whatever we can." Does it anyway?
He's like, Kevin Spacey, you have to turn the power back on. And he just flips a fucking switch on the wall.
And it doesn't
like,
turn
like,
on.
how
you, you couldn't do that? You couldn't try that switch?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know.
And then,
This movie's just trying to end, so it's just like, let's just fucking let's go.
so we get to
Nobody's watching at this point.
Vince Vaughn meets up with his British girlfriend, and his present to her is that he's gonna move in with her, and I guess become like a drain on her. And she's really psyched about that because literally the only thing she wants in her life is commitment because she's very 3-dimensional.
Yeah, that's all the women in this movie.
Literally all the women in this movie are like wives or girlfriends.
To be fair,
though,
like, to the one character, the Fred Claus or was Santa Nicholas's wife is actually probably the only one who's on to Vince
but
Vaughn
she's
right
still
away,
like, I'm just a fucking bitch.
Fair enough. It's done in a tropey way, but at least she is prescient enough to know that he's fucking gonna try and fuck over Santa.
Yeah.
But still, yes, it is done in a tropey way that is obvious.
She's like, I'm really
wife.
cold and mean.
And then we get to the montage that paid for the movie.
Yes.
The children opening presents sequence.
Yep, because he's like, stop. He shows up at the pole. And like the sun comes up. And the door opens, and Willie strides in.
Oh my God, yes!
Grabs
like a
a
fucking
stool,
cowboy.
Whips it down in front of Elizabeth Banks and just plants her a kiss.
And she's like, she's
and
like,
then Kevin Spacey whips a stool down and grabs it. Okay.
No.
And this is Elizabeth Banks' line after that. She just goes, Willie.
Yep. Yeah.
Because she finally remembers his name.
Yeah.
Because short skirt, boobs hanging out, Elizabeth Banks
Not
is
to
making
mention,
out with this 3-foot tall little man.
To be fair, she doesn't have a lot of other options.
Dude, also...
At least he's head elf.
Dude, they're fucking Gilbert and Sullivan, the fucking ending out of this as well.
Oh.
Because everyone ends up in a couple.
So it's not singing, but there's no singing, so it's not fun.
But, like... The other elf, the
Ludacris
Downton Abbey elf, who's like the angry like letter elf, is like mad, and then that other girl elf is like, "Oh, sweetie," and it's like, okay, so I guess they got together. These random background characters got together as well.
Once more gondolieri.
Stop it! Everyone's just like fucking around.
Yeah,
like okay.
And then Kevin Spacey got together with that little orphan boy.
All right. Oh,
That was the worst one.
you crossed the line there,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'd like to apologize to my future running mate and my family.
Your future running mate.
So I wrote CGI head on dwarf body again because I think they showed Ludacris
Yeah,
like partying.
and this one was even worse.
It requires a lot of mentioning.
Yeah, and then I just wrote, how are they all alive? Because the movie never says why all of his family is alive. And they're all slightly aged differently, but not at the same rates. Like, his parents still alive.
His parents
still
are like the same
30
age
years
as
older
Santa.
than him.
Yeah, but
they're
they're
like in their 60s.
But that like makes sense. But they're like the same age as Santa, which doesn't make it sense. Like they make their age makes sense to be the parents of Vince Vaughn, but not of Santa Claus.
Like I wrote, like he was born in medieval times.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the movie ends with "What a wonderful world," and Lauren's like, "This is not a Christmas song." And you're like,
They changed the words though.
Really?
It was
okay.
That Somewhere Over the Rainbow ukulele song. But they changed the words to be a Christmas song. It was this horrible bastardization.
No way! I didn't even know. I thought it was "What a Wonderful World" that was playing.
No.
Okay, because that's not really a Christmas song either. But
no, neither of them.
So and then of course over the credits, the Ludacris tie-in Christmas song played, where he's like, "Give me presents, bitch." No,
what was it? It was
because
Santa Claus is coming to town, but him rapping.
Bitch.
Yeah, it was like Santa Claus is coming. Better be a nice boy,
bitch.
Yeah.
God. It's so bad.
He's just like,
in fact,
face down, ass up.
Matt and I like made eye contact, and I said, "It can't be." No.
Yeah. So, Ludacrismas happened.
But Lil Chris, like that's
Lil Chris. Yes,
that's our original ones. If we say Ludacrismas one more time, we'll get sued.
Does anyone else want to say anything before we kind of do our wrap up here?
Did we notice any bonkers presents in the "Let's Pay for This Movie" opening present scene?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so after the presents were correctly delivered, he's like, "We did it." This shows all the kids in a montage opening their presents, and there was a Scene It game.
Yeah, there was a Scene It game.
There was, I think there were. I'm trying to think what other shit there was. Now I've completely vacated my brain.
There was a Bob the Builder thing.
A Bob the Builder
toy. It was
toy.
a lot of shit that wasn't hula hoops or baseball bats.
Yes,
right.
Some of the kids got. There's people opening up
there was like
bats.
a part where like a girl was playing with her hula hoop or whatever. But
yes,
I would like to mention
that's all Elvin wanted. Was a hula hoop.
Yeah. I would like to mention that during the intervention scene, there was a discussion about Santa being impotent, and I can't believe that this is the first time we're bringing that up.
Oh my god! So yeah, there's an intervention where he's like, "Oh yeah," because it comes to a head because Kevin Spacey's like making them fight each other basically to ruin this.
And I love that Santa has sleep apnea.
Oh yeah,
he's conversation.
He's got and he's having a little trouble in the relationship department. And I forget what does Vince Vaughn say? He's like, you can't get the sleigh all the way to the North Pole.
Yeah,
or something
weird
like that.
He can't
you're
get
talking
the
about
sleigh
your brother's dick here. What are you doing?
Come on, dude.
Ugh, that's Kevin Spacey. Comes on, dudes. All right,
well,
let's.
And also Elizabeth Banks is reading To Kill a Mockingbird in a bar
for no reason.
Yeah.
They never explain why she's reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Textbook type deal.
I thought for sure that that's probably a subplot that was cut.
Yeah, probably.
Like a scene
they were
where
like,
she's
look, 40 subplots is enough.
No,
we don't need
exactly.
This
need
I'm sure there was a
41.
subplot literally where she was going to be like, "Oh, I don't want to just be Santa's little helper. I'm studying law so I can become like something I don't know." But they
lawyer?
didn't. Yeah, I don't know, like a Santa lawyer for Santa law, Christmas law.
to defend against the war on Christmas, Lauren.
That's right.
Happy holidays.
Well, you know what? I, for one, welcome the war on Christmas if Fred Claus is what Christmas is all about.
I will fight against Fred Claus for...
So,
My whole life.
any final thoughts before we wrap up when you guys guess the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that too.
Okay. So you got to imagine there's a lot of famous people in this.
Yeah.
It's a big studio picture. I think it was really bad.
I thought it was really boring. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
bored.
It's 2 hours long.
Yeah. It wasn't...
The only reason why it was watchable is because Kevin Spacey was around and we could just dunk on Kevin Spacey the entire
Right,
time.
right. We just, like, made
We
Kevin
could just be
Spacey
like,
jokes.
Kevin
But
Spacey, children predator.
I thought it was the terrible realm of bad movie where it's a bad movie, but it's not good enough that it's fun to goof on.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not like extremely terrible where it's good.
Yeah,
Right.
and the Vince Vaughn shtick was tired. I mean, like...
Yeah.
It
like,
was just long.
Like,
and
Wedding Crashers
boring.
was the limit of the Vince Vaughn shtick.
Right, and it's like I
Like-
don't need a fourth Vince Vaughn
After that
being
movie,
goofy
you can't
monologue
do it anymore.
because he's
Like-
not. Yeah, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, his
like,
character
it doesn't
isn't
come off well.
great, like and well defined, and it only works if he's got a sidekick, like Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't
Vince
work.
Vaughn needs a
Wow.
likable sidekick
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn,
because he's
wow.
not likable. So he
Well,
can't
actually,
get a
I think
movie.
when was Owen Wilson's suicide attempt? Was it directly
Wow.
after the release of Fred Claus?
Dude.
Look,
I'm
if I had to
sorry.
work with Vince Vaughn,
Oh my god.
He was like
okay.
Wedding Crashers 2.
This is probably not.
I gotta
jokes
find a
we
way
should
out.
make.
All right.
Wow.
Any other final thoughts?
oh,
I
got
you
my
know,
guess.
like if it had been a fun bad Christmas movie, I would say, yeah, go out and watch it. You'll have a fun, goofy night. But
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Don't watch this. Go watch Jack Frost, not the family-friendly
why
one,
don't we
the horror movie
Yeah,
one.
we should watch that.
Owen Wilson's suicide attempt happened 1 month before this movie came out, so it was about the same
Wow.
time. He was like,
Oh no!
my friend. I don't know. It's sad.
Well, I'm glad that.
Yeah,
he
I am
didn't
glad he is
actually
not
do
dead.
it.
By
Yeah.
the way, I don't
Yeah.
want to
I like Owen
laugh about that
Wilson.
much. I more
And I
want to
hope-
make fun of how bad this movie is, and not about the problems that Owen Wilson
Right,
had.
I
Has
hope
gotten
that
over,
he-
hopefully.
Yeah, he seems good.
Yes.
I hope that he's okay.
I'm glad he's
has
okay.
the help that he needs.
I mean, yeah. Oh. But anyway, this is a bad movie. What do you got for Rotten Tomatoes scores? Closest wins. We're not doing prices right.
43%.
Okay.
32%.
Matt wins 22%.
22.
Yeah.
I
This
mean,
is
that's
a
fair.
huge Hollywood release movie.
I would give it
with a
like,
bunch of famous people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still couldn't get the critics on their side.
That's why.
'Cause
That's
that's
why I put it in the
garbage.
40s. But it's so bad.
I mean, you would think with Paul Giamatti,
Well,
fucking
they-
Vince Vaughn,
Fucking okay. I
Kathy
think
Bates,
I think I said this while
Kevin
we were.
Spacey.
Yeah, I think I said this while we were watching it. Why would they cast Paul Giamatti as Santa? He's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
least jolly person I
Yeah,
can think
you're
of.
right. He's literally
his
known
whole-
for being grumpy.
Right, his whole
think-
shtick is that he's like, "Bah,"
Well, I
you
think
know.
Paul Giamatti's Santa on its own would have been funny, but in this movie, it just doesn't work. You would
No.
need
Like,
something for it to play off of.
Had Paul Giamatti been playing a mole Santa,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have. That would be
Paul
a funny
Giamatti
movie.
in
And
Bad
we
Santa
didn't-
3.
Yeah, like we said before,
It's
the
Paul
big,
Giamatti now.
the biggest problem with this movie is literally who is this for? I said this is like Bad Santa, but PG rated.
Right.
So they can't do anything shocking.
It's too
I've got your answer to this question. Who is this for?
Shareholders.
This is for Vince Vaughn.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally fucking
This whole
right.
movie is for Vince
right.
Vaughn.
It's
He's
just
a producer.
for Vince Vaughn to jerk his ding dong too.
Yeah, so.
But
That's what
yeah,
you do. You
it's,
get the director of Wedding Crashers, and then Vince Vaughn producing it, and you get a Christmas
Yeah.
movie that is just boring. Like, I'm sure this would have been better if this had been a rated R comedy.
Right.
They could have maybe done some really funny stuff in
because the
it.
problem is
That kid could have been swearing like he likes to
Right.
do in like role models and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it could have been like that could have been great.
it's
Or not great. It could have been like that was interesting. Rated R Christmas movie.
it's
fun.
It's too lame
Different.
to be a kids movie, or excuse me, it's too lame and like kiddie to be an adult movie.
Correct.
And it's too
It's PG. You're supposed to take your kids to this.
Yeah.
it's too boring and has too many like adult things happening in
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
for it to be
Like even if
a
it was
kids movie. So
They were
it's
like
not for anybody.
PG-13, like it would make sense to me.
They were like, you know how Pixar is like a kids movie, but it also has stuff in there for adults. Let's do the opposite of that.
Yeah,
Let's make it so that no one will like it.
that's true. What do kids connect to? A 40-year-old guy who can't commit to his girlfriend.
Roger Clinton.
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, a
Clinton
bunch
Jr.
of pop culture references that they're too young to know.
Yes,
I think I'm too young to know the Roger Clinton.
I know. I didn't.
I'm too young. I didn't know who that was until he was like, my brother's Bill Clinton. I was like, well, I
Oh.
know who Bill Clinton is, but
Yeah, shit, man. Yeah, old tricky Bill.
lock her up.
Lock him up.
Lock him up.
Lock them all up.
Anyway.
Lock everyone up.
Vince Vaughn. Lock
Lock
him up.
Kevin Spacey up.
Lock.
But like, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Holy shit. But yes, I will say the
Oh,
saving
man.
grace of
Can
this
you
movie
imagine
is
if Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey wasn't in this movie?
Or
What
could you
would we
imagine
even
Kevin
talk
Spacey
about?
was in this movie, but there wasn't the rumors outed finally?
Oh.
We would have just been like, oh, weird to have Kevin Spacey as the
Yeah,
villain.
we probably would have said honestly is still that Kevin Spacey was the best part because like whatever, he's a horrible person, but he's kind of a good actor.
Yes, his acting was
Yeah,
fine.
what a weird. It's so good. It's so weird that he's so good at being evil.
I know. Very strange.
All right. So I guess what did we do in the past? Did we ever give star ratings or anything? I don't think so. We just kind of were done.
I mean, I can't.
I
go
can
on.
give alternate suggestions.
Okay.
Don't watch this movie.
Yeah.
Watch the Jack Frost horror movie.
okay.
Or
Which was
Better
our
Watch
trailer.
Out.
Better watch out or Santa Sleigh, right? Isn't that
I haven't seen that one yet, but
Go see
it's
Star
got to be
Wars.
better than this one.
Probably a Christmas Prince is at least a fun bad movie.
Oh, you know what? This isn't a Christmas movie, but it involves a lot of snow. Watch Pontypool on Netflix.
I don't know what that is.
It's a horror movie.
Steve is lost.
Steve's
Our
like,
cat's yowling. We're upstairs, buddy.
come on, bud.
Anyway,
He's too dumb to know where we are.
yeah. So I don't know. Out of 5, this is a 1 maybe. It's so boring.
Yeah.
That's a one.
It's
That's the
so
thing.
boring.
It's so
It's boring.
boring. It
Like,
would be
I
one
get-
thing if this was bad and entertaining, but it's
But
just
like
so
literally,
dull.
the only funny parts are like, okay, Vince Vaughn's going to do his Vince Vaughn shtick. That's the comedy. No, there's a little slapstick with Santa in that one scene, but that's it. And the weird fart noises. There's like some real trying to push some slapstick into this.
Yeah, it's
But
but
it
it's
isn't
it's
enough.
really like out of place and it's not enough.
Like part of why the Santa Claus, which is kind of a weird movie because it stars Tim Allen, like what kids are going to be into this, is that all of the fucking elves are children playing like adults as elves, which was fun because it's like, oh yeah, but man, could you imagine if the elves in this were children? Holy shit, the Kevin Spacey stuff would have been way better because at least the elves in all this seem to be regular
okay,
adult
but
people.
a children would have kissed an adult lady if that was.
It would have been fucking
Look,
awesome, is what it would have
when
been.
I was a child, if I
could have kissed Elizabeth Banks, holy cow! I just, well, I would have
I'm
went off
I
my
guess
pants,
that-
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
have
just
to think
dreaming about
this
this when I was like,
Just
You're dreaming
just-
about kissing Elizabeth Banks.
when I was
just-
a child.
just-
Me too.
When I was like
Hold on.
15.
and I'm finished. Okay.
Ah, yes.
All right.
And with that,
So-
we're done. Matt's finished,
God.
so we're done. Anyway, so to wrap up the podcast, as we always do, you can find me at John_Danger on Twitter. Also, bornintheeighties.net is the website. Matt, you go.
You can find me at Matt Haig Music everywhere. Twitter,
I had to burp.
YouTube, the thing with the stuff.
Yes,
where can
please
we find you, Lauren?
Oh, sorry. Before we go to Lauren, just more Born in the 80s. Let us know what you think about the movie. You can join us on Discord. There'll be a link on the post of this on bornintheeighties.net. or you can send us a message on bornintheage.net or our Facebook group or the Twitter that is.
And we have a subreddit now.
We do have a subreddit. r/bornintheeighties.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, we just literally started it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, yes, so you can comment on that here. Someone who wasn't me said that they were going to be putting official Reddit posts up of every episode.
I think you said you
I did not. Absolutely not.
Maybe it was TJ. But
I
I tried to implicate you in that whole situation.
No, because I already do way too much. I put up every episode. God damn it. I edit them and put them up on the website and do the Patreon. So you can find us on patreon.com. No, Lauren, where can people find you? Nowhere?
If someone wants to find me, you can follow me on Twitter.
You can use the child viewing globe.
Yeah, you can use the child viewing globe.
And Lauren said that if you
Lauren
use
Welch.
that on her, where would you be?
Oh, yeah. I said, because I was like...
Because it was a coincidence that it was the moment she was getting propositioned for a date. And Lauren said, oh, well, if you said Lauren Welch on that thing, what would happen?
If you said Lauren Welch, Madison, Wisconsin at that thing, I'd either be reading Reddit on the toilet or eating something that I dropped on the ground. Or singing a song about Spinelli.
Yes, our cat.
If you would like to find me, I don't know if anyone would want to follow me, but if you do want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at DemonKitty10. Mm-hmm. That's my Twitter handle,
Good one.
right?
Yeah. You can just search your name if that's your name.
Oh, yeah.
well.
I'm also Lauren Welch on Twitter.
Yeah, so you can just search Lauren Welch and it'll be at
It's a
DemonKitty10.
picture of me. I have red hair, taking a selfie in the mirror.
Oh, what a loser.
Let's
Well,
take a selfie.
Let's take a selfie.
The only pictures that I look good are when it's selfies because I can adjust the angle and the lighting.
And with that, we're done. Lauren, don't watch Fred Claus.
Don't watch
Yeah,
Fred
don't-
Claus.
We watched it so you didn't have
Watch
to.
watch a
Don't do
better
it.
Nostalgia critic.
bad movie.
Anything else, really.
Yeah, anything. Watch Jack Frost, which we almost watched.
Try an
Not
ABC
the horror
Family
version.
movie.
The Jack Frost with Michael Keaton turning into a snowman.
Which has the same plot as the horror movie,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah, basically.
Silent night.
Didn't the movie end with that? Yeah, right?
Holy
It was fucking so like, what? All right, anyway, we're done.
all is calm.
Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay nay. Lauren, can you please talk?
What the fuck is the Born in the 80s Twitter handle?
Yes, I can talk. I don't know what it is actually. I think it's
I
just Born in the
don't know.
80s, right? Or like Bite. I don't fucking know.
All right,
That
Matt.
was for your
Matt,
listening.
can you talk, please?
I'm trying to tweet. I don't know how to do it. Just tweeting and Born in the 80s.
I don't remember what it is. Here, I can find it.
Just look at
It
it.
sent me a message. So, 80s podcast. Yeah, why wasn't that showing up when I tried to add it? Try to add it.
Watch me. Rocking around the Christmas tree. Have a Christmas holiday. What?
Oh, no, it's Twitter.
What's trending?
No, there's a man named Krang T. Nelson that I follow on weird Twitter. And somebody said, hey, so-and-so got your number for our baby shower at Saturday, January 6th. Please don't kick that. You were having trouble finding parking, and I can show you some places nearby. And he replied, hey, I think you have the wrong number, but I would still like to send something for the forthcoming child. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yep, that would be what I asked you not to do.
I'm trying to get myself in position so I don't kick it.
Well, I said you could probably slide more towards Lauren if you wanted to.
Ew.
And
Don't
Lauren
make
could
him
slide
slide
over.
towards
You're
me.
not in any way sliding.
Which way do you want me to slide?
Towards Matt. That makes the most sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's all slide towards John.
No, so
No.
she said she's sorry, and he said, no, every birth's a miracle. I'm going to send something. And this is what he sent. It is a unisex onesie that says, Satan loves me, which I really like, and I hope that they get. Anyway. Hey, the new Star Wars movie came out. More like the new SJ Star Wars W movie came out.
I know. There was more than one woman in it, but they only talked to each other about men.
You okay there, Matt?
It's wobbly, so I'm fixing it. We haven't started yet.
No, it's just recording the pre-podcast nonsense that we talk about. Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay-nay. Now watch me whip. Whip. Now watch me nay. Okay, I think we're good levels-wise. Can I get... All right, this is me talking. Lauren, can you go?
Yes, I can go. I will talk to you about all these hot sauce packets on the table. There is a hot packet that says...
Okay, that's enough. Matt,
Hot packet.
Matt, can you talk?
Hi, my name's Matt, and I love Satan. And that's all I have to say about that.
Perfect. All right, let me listen back.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 295.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Jonathan Rowe.
Stop. We're not...
Lauren Welch. And?
Oh, sure.
I'm trying to get an edit point, so I need some breaks here, or else I'll never find this part to...
What's your story, man?
Excuse me?
Look, whatever you're trying to do with me here is not going to work.
What exactly am I trying?
I don't know what it is that you're into, but there's something real kind of creepy about you. And all I know is ever since you got here, my brother's been getting a little bit nervous and acting a little jumpy.
That's wonderful.
What is wonderful?
Well, that you take such an interest in your brother's well-being. Well, I mean, of course you do. I'm sure he does the same for you.
Look, Clyde.
You ever seen a tree that grows in the shadow of another tree? It's all puny and misshapen because it's just bending and twisting, trying so desperately to get some sunlight. If somebody just cut off a few feet of that big tree, that little tree could have grown up strong. But no, that's not the way life works, right? I mean, they all love that big tree, right? They're all proud of that one. They hate the crap out of the little one next to it. The little tree that refuses to grow right. And you know what? Till somebody comes along and cuts down that big tree, that little tree is never going to get any light. Any light. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. Christmas. Have a nice night. By the time the sun rises, it will all be over. See you in the morning. Bring up Fred Claus from earlier today, please.
And we can correct that. We can correct that. Charlene, we still have plenty of time, don't we?
With less than 3 days to go until Christmas, you now have no way of making your quota. And I think you know what that means. Strike 3.